Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Loudmouth, directed by Josh Alexander, and this new documentary focuses on Reverend Al Sharpton, and goes from when he was a much younger man in the streets protesting, doing all kinds of, protests and making stands and causing a whole lot of ruckus, to now, where he's plastered all over television and all kinds of stuff like that. But it's very interesting looking at this progression of a figure like Al Sharpton, who is very polarizing, depending on who you ask, and he's done a lot of great things in terms of fighting for civil rights. He's obviously taken a very specific approach to it, being one of the loudest people in the room, based off of the title of this film. And it's interesting to see the evolution of him, because like when he was younger, walking around in these track suits and big mullets and horseshoe mustaches, and then now like extremely well dressed, sleek looking individual. And that evolution of him over the years is interesting to see on screen as well. I do have to say, well, in general, this film captures the impact of what Al Sharpton has made over the years, and you see the legacy that he has left. But I do have to say there's certain things about this film that didn't really click with me. Like, one, it didn't need to be 2 hours. It just felt like it dragged the whole last, 25 minutes. Where it's just like, oh, the pacing was really off, because there was a whole entire section where he focused on one case from his past for 25 minutes, and then realized oh crap, we need to paint the rest of the picture of this man's life. And then you rush through it. And bouncing around between so many different things in the last 20 minutes that just kind of felt needless and overstretching. And there's parts where I feel like the film completely lost focus on its subject, which is Al Sharpton. I do also think it didn't really take a nuanced approach. Yes, they do lodge criticisms, and most of them are from, very conservative people, and you're having those kinds of things, and they're not really much of consequence, but they don't tackle, one of the opening moments of this film is him, shaking hands with Andrew Cuomo and just being there with all of the Democratic establishment in our political system, and there's no look into, valid criticism of, are you just part of this establishment, or are you really making a difference anymore? Because obviously you see all this stuff that he did when he was younger and the impact that he made, and now he's part of this establishment that gets criticized quite a bit by its own party for not really doing things that they really need to do and playing it safe. And it would have been interesting if this film actually tackled that, instead of just I'm not saying that they needed to do a hit piece on this man, but at least bring up some of the criticisms and stuff like that in a meaningful way. It's hard to make a documentary. One of my biggest pet peeves about documentaries is just sugarcoating everything. It's not everybody, no one is perfect. Everybody has flaws, and I feel like this film kind of shirked them and didn't try to approach them at all. And in the end, I think this is a really fascinating documentary, though. It's informative, it's an interesting watch, it's engaging, and no matter how you feel about him, Reverend Al Sharpton is quite the figure, and makes for a very interesting dive into who he is and the life that he's led. So this is a worthwhile documentary experience, even if it plays it a little safe and overstays its welcome a bit. But those are my thoughts on Loudmouth. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.